Today, we're going to take a look at the MuleSoft MCP server to see how you can give any AI assistant the ability to interact with the MuleSoft integration platform and the operational capabilities that it provides. We're going to use it in Claude Code, a terminal-based AI assistant that has been making a lot of headlines recently and that I personally found very great to use very fast. Then we're going to put it to work and actually perform a MuleSoft platform health check using the combination of both of these capabilities. Let's jump in. Starting with Claude Code, we can see on Anthropic's website some of the things that Claude Code can do for you: building features from descriptions and natural language, debugging and fixing issues, automating tedious tasks, doing all this around your code base. Some of the reasons why Anthropic says developers have been loving Claude Code. Now, Claude Code on its own is great, but we can take it to the next level by providing what are called MCP servers to it. You can think about MCP as supercharging any AI assistant with tools that allow it to interact with platforms that already exist inside of your organization. So in this case, the MuleSoft MCP server gives Claude Code the ability to create full MuleSoft integrations or APIs, run and test them, while we're doing that development, actually searching for existing APIs or integration templates in your organization. So it's not inventing new code, it's following development guidelines that your organization has already set out. Besides building, it can help you with the actual operation of the platform as well. So it can create and manage API instances. So you can add things like security policies or quality of service policies to APIs via this AI assistant. It can handle deployments as well as actually getting insights and analyzing usage and metrics about the actual platform here, such as API and app call volume. So this MCP server that MuleSoft has put out allows you to supercharge those agents and get them interacting with the full capabilities of MuleSoft. And we're going to see how we can do that with Claude Code today. It's a pretty simple setup process, only a couple steps. We're going to install the MuleSoft MCP server, get Claude Code up and running, and then configure Claude Code to access the actual MCP server. The first step here, very important, is coming into the MuleSoft environment and actually creating a connected app. So connected apps are what gives the AI assistant permission to actually interact with the capabilities of the MuleSoft platform. So you can see all of the scopes here that tie to different actions you do inside of the Mule platform, like managing API configuration, for instance. And so there's a set of these that are detailed in the MCP server documentation that you want to give access to power those tools for the AI assistant. What's important here is you can scope it down to your different environments. So we can only give the AI assistant access to sandbox, for instance. We don't want it to have access to production. Or maybe you mix and match these with different capabilities by different environments. So very important to actually set this up and scope it correctly, as we've detailed in the documentation itself. When you have this created, you'll actually get access to an ID and secret, and you're going to want to copy it and save these for future setup steps. So with that, putting guardrails around how our AI assistant can actually interact with the platform, we can now go into the actual setup of Claude Code itself. So in the quick start for Claude Code, there's a very simple command that needs to be run to actually get it installed on your local device. Same with the MuleSoft MCP server. You can go ahead, npm install, and do that. And then lastly, we have one command here that we can run where we'll actually replace the client ID and client secret with those that we just created in the connected app. And when it's all said and done, we can come into our terminal and actually see and check that this is running correctly. So I've started up Claude Code now with the Claude command. Lots of useful / commands that let you interact with Claude Code. And in this case, we can type /mcp to see the actual servers that we've connected to it. You can see it's successfully connected in my environment. And all those tools that we were looking at earlier become available for you to inspect here. And Claude now has access to these capabilities as well to list your applications, for instance. You can see all of the parameters that we're giving to Claude Code so it knows how to interact and use these tools. So you can see all 18. I'll look at, searching for an asset. So again, this can be used during development time so that Claude's always looking for existing APIs or templates that you have in your organization for use in any net new development projects. Now that we have this set up in Claude Code, we can actually go ahead and put it to work. So we have an example prompt here that we're going to use to actually perform the health check on the Mule platform. We want to look at performance metrics, list our deployed applications, check usage trends over the last 14 days, and look at reuse metrics. And we can tell it to output a nicely formatted report as a web page that we can look at. So to interact with Claude Code, I'm just going to type in here and say, read in the example prompt, if I can type, and execute its contents. Now Claude Code is going to go to work, and you can see it actually interacting with the environment. So it's creating a plan, it's going to go through the plan, and at each point in this, we're going to get prompted to ask whether or not we want it to continue or not. So now Claude is going to use its commands, interact with the actual working directory or code base that we're doing here. In this case, it's in my Git videos working directory. You can see it's reading the file and it's thinking about what it should do based on that file contents. And pretty soon it's going to go through and start using the MuleSoft tools from the MCP server to put this health check report together. So after it's come up with its to-do list, one of the cool features about Claude is this to-do list, is this planning. It's going to actually ask us for permission the first time it wants to use any of these tools. So the combination of the connected app, permissioning, and giving it specific capabilities to access sandbox only or only view in production makes this a secure way to have this AI assistant interact with the environment. And so you can see Claude has come up with what it's going to call and how it's going to use the tool to actually start to accomplish its checklist. I'm going to say to yes and don't ask again for this particular tool. So now Claude, anytime it needs to use Get Platform Insights, it's not going to ask me anymore. So cool way to expedite things if you want safe tool usage or believe that command is safe. Now you can see Claude has gone and called the tool, and this is all of the data that's come back from that tool use. So you can see names of my applications, Oregon asset IDs, characteristics associated with it. So these tools are supercharging this AI assistant's ability to perform this routine task that typically would be tedious and take manual action for us to do. Now it's going to list applications again, asking me the first time it wants to execute that tool command. And lastly, it's going to get the reuse metrics for the particular assets. Again, another tool that I'm going to give it the ability to call whenever it wants for the rest of this session. And it's checked off all of its plans, and now it's doing the last thing, which is getting that formatted HTML report out to us so that we can take a look in our web browser. All right, now that it's finished up, the last tool call is actually saving the file in Visual Studio. So Claude Code can interact directly with the development environment itself, a cool feature that comes with Visual Studio editors. So it's going to save that file for us. At this point, it seems like it's created everything I've needed it to, so I can actually press escape to interrupt Claude Code when it's building it out. And then we can go ahead and open this directly in our browser. So I'm just going to reveal this in Finder and then open this up in Chrome. Now we can see Claude's interestingly formatted MuleSoft platform health check, summarizing all of those data that we got from the MCP server calls, from deployment status, resource utilization, memory utilization. It's looking and giving recommendations for asset reuse and optimization. So me being in my sandbox and demo org, obviously there's not a lot of apps being used at this particular time. And it's even given recommendations and action items. One of my reservations monitoring example apps had a lot of errors on purpose that should be looked at and gotten immediate attention. You can see it even categorizes these into high, medium, positive, even looking at data throughput. So this shows the power that an AI assistant can be armed with when we give it a Mule MCP server to interact with all of those anypoint platform capabilities. So great example of Claude Code in action. To summarize, we saw how the Mule MCP server can supercharge your favorite AI assistant like Claude Code or Copilot. We saw how easy it was to get the MCP server set up and integrated into Claude Code. Then we put it to work and saw that great platform health check that Claude did when it ran through all of the different data the MCP server provided. It's very easy to see how a AI assistant with an MCP server can accelerate delivery of integrations, APIs, and policies, all with natural language. It's easy to see how getting access to operational metrics and characteristics can help reduce operational overhead in your Mule landscape, help you more quickly analyze what's going on with your environment. lastly, the Mule MCP server works anywhere MCP servers are supported. So Cursor, Windsurf, Claude Code. This lets your developers stay in their favorite development environment and reduce the need for context switching when they're developing integrations and APIs. Thanks for the time. All of the links to the GitHub repository will be in the description, along with some other helpful resources around Claude Code. Hope this was helpful.